Issue 5 of Simpsons comics follows the aftermath of Itchy and Scratchy jumping into the real world and trashing the Simpsons household. Bart is blamed for the destruction and is punished by not being able to attend Krusty the Clown's performance at the power plant. During the event, Itchy and Scratchy crash through, gaining access to the reactor core, which triggers a huge explosion that transforms the attendees into superheroes. Marge becomes the Entangler, with the ability to grab enemies with her long, voluminous hair. Lisa becomes a Jazzler, whose powerful saxophone shrouds her enemies in blindness and deafness. And Homer becomes the Ingestible Bulk, a powerful man-like monster whose anger is as limitless as his hunger. The Simpsons action figure series by Playmates Toys had a set of figures based on the comic in 2002. Playmates already had an ongoing series of Simpsons figures in the Road to Springfield line, but this was meant to be a sub-series based on the comic storyline. However, additional figures would be cancelled unknowingly, so this is the only pack we have. The package has a nice view of the 3 figures with art of the respective characters to the left. The featured heroes are Homer Simpson as the Ingestible Bulk, Edna Krabappel as Vampiredna, and Apu as Captain Kwik. The back shows better images of the artwork, gives a description of what transpired in the comic, and has a photo of the figures. Mrs. Krabappel's alter ego is Vampiredna, an irresistible nocturnal bloodsucker. Or at least, that's the idea. She is a parody of the comic hero Vampiredna, whom I'm not too familiar with. These toys are more like mini statues as they have little articulation, with the most out of the set being Mrs. Krabappel, whose head, arms, and waist can move. She also includes an additional feature, allowing her to hold her cape by connecting these little pegs in her palms. Be careful though, you'll get jump scared by her underside. Apu has become Captain Kwik, a clear parody of the Flash. He almost has the same amount of movement as Vampiredna, except for his waist. Unlike her, he isn't sculpted into a limited pose, which gives a bit more room for expression. His outfit is simpler as it's not exactly a suit, rather just something that's more along his usual clothing, but with some extra pizzazz. Especially with that lightning bolt design the jacket has front and center, chest hair and everything. Homer transformed into the Ingestible Bulk, which, surprise surprise, was a big reason for me getting this pack, as this is obviously a parody of the Incredible Hulk. This isn't the only hulked out Homer figure we've gotten, as Jakks Pacific has recently released a new version of the figure based on the episode I Am Furious Yellow, in which Homer again, sort of, becomes the Hulk. There are also bootlegs out there. In fact, there is a ridiculous amount of Homer mashup bootlegs. Who keeps making these? Bulked up Homer here has the least amount of articulation in the pack, with arm and waist movement. I tried to move the head, but there doesn't seem to be anything there. However, I also tried to move the arms, but they didn't budge, and for a moment thought that maybe they didn't move at all. But that's not the case. My copy is just incredibly stiff due to being in its plastic prison for 23 years. So maybe the head is a similar situation. He's got his big old belly out, alluding to the fact that Bulk could definitely be in better shape.
Cutie better drink all Hulk's beer!
I'm going to sound biased, but I think this is the best figure out of the set. All due to his appearance. He's got the most expressive sculpt, and it's just fun seeing Homer as Hulk. Why else would it be a recurring goof all these years later? The only other Simpsons figure I have is this Lego minifigure of Smithers. Here's Bulk compared to an actual Hulk figure. Notably, the 2008 Hulk, as he's also wearing blue jeans. I'm not gonna give the usual spiel in that if you're a Simpsons fan you enjoy these because the Playmates figures were already highly popular. However, if you're into the silliness of parodies like this, then I don't see how you could not enjoy this. When it comes to Bulk, I believe the newest figure is better by default, with the extra articulation and accessories. But a big reason why I got this version was that he was completely green. Now that I do have this, I won't hesitate to pick up Furious Homer if I come across him again.